Good morning. You are going to survive this crisis, and so can your business. If you are still in hiding, you need to go and watch my past survival guide episode where I walk you through what to do if you're stuck or you're feeling completely paralyzed by the situation. If you're in action and you're ready to make a move, then watch the episode about how to take strong and resilient action. One of the things we're talking about in Power Up Your Business, which is one of my coaching programs, and we're going to be talking about it in Momentum as well this week, is we're going to be talking about cash flow and money. I'm spending a lot of time listening and reading to, sorry, spending a lot of time listening and reading about what the concerns are that you're posting so that I can make sure that these episodes are timely and are addressing the stress that you are feeling. The number one stress I'm hearing right now is about money. I don't think there's a planet on this earth whose bottom line hasn't been impacted. For the most part, it has been negatively impacted. And then there are a few who are watching their revenues skyrocket. Their sales have never been higher because what it is that they serve or do is applicable and relevant to the needs right now. You know that this week we're talking all about how to get going, but we sometimes can't get going when that money noose is sitting so tight around our neck. So look me in the eye and hear this. You are going to survive this crisis. When you can shift and take small actions each and every day, you are going to be setting yourself up for success. You might be in the camp of people whose businesses have had to shut down completely. Maybe you do in home visits. I'm thinking about one of my wonderful women who does physiotherapy services in the home, and others who run physiotherapy clinics, chiropractors. Other businesses that have completely shut down are some of the brick and mortar stores, clothing sales. All non essential businesses have essentially had to shut their door. Those who already have an online presence have a bit of an increased opportunity. But if you're, say, a photographer, you can't really be going out and shooting families right now. Although I have to say, I have seen a really resourceful photographer who's doing porch shots where she goes and stands at the end of someone's driveway and takes an image of the family to help them create a memory of surviving this crazy pandemic. We are writing history each and every day. Your grandchildren and your great grandchildren are going to be reading about this pandemic for years to come. And we are creating and writing the history books. Your future is 100% in your hands, all based on what choices you're making today. And so I wanted to talk about what happens if you're watching your revenue dry up. If you still have the opportunity to work, you've probably had to pivot and change how it is that you work or what it is that you sell or how you're positioning it. Maybe you're still not there. If you're not at the selling stage yet, then please make sure that you're still staying visible. Your people need you more than anything else right now. There has never been a better time for you to be growing your online community and connections so that when you are ready to make that move, they're sitting there waiting and they've already built that trust with you. But what if you simply cannot work? Or what if your work is dwindling in front of your eyes and you have that panic starting to rise up? I want to share 10 things that you can be doing right now, today, to help combat your money angst. Number one, the very first thing is if you have rent to pay or a mortgage to pay, contact your bank or your landlord and either ask to defer payment or to lower payments. Not everybody's reacting to this request the same, and we can't control how they react. What we can control is how we show up and ask. Sometimes asking for a complete deferred payment for a month is completely unrealistic. But maybe if you presented it in a way of, what if I paid 25% of my rent so that you still had some money coming in? And whether, 50% of your rent, just have a conversation and find a mutually agreed upon plan that's going to work for you. I know right now in Canada, the government's working on working with commercial landlords to help with the rent because I mean, if you're not making business, you can't pay your rent. But my point today is ask. Have a conversation, don't hide. With all the steps I'm going to share today, you have two choices. You can either attack this conversation head on and feel uncomfortable and scared doing it and do it anyway, or you can stick your head in the sand. Sticking your head in the sand is going to be a short term solution that's going to help you today feel a little bit better because you're not dealing with scary and ugly things. This is one of those moves where we got to just pinky swear that we can feel uncomfortable, but we can stay in action anyway. So contact your mortgage or landlord and make other payment arrangements. And if they're not open, we'll be okay. Number two, ask for a deferred or decreased rent payment. Sometimes a little bit of money is better than no money. So negotiate. Negotiate with your landlord. See what they can do to help you, and maybe in turn, see what you can do to help them. If you have more time, maybe there's a way that you could be supporting them. If they, if they, maybe you need to fix something in your unit and maybe they could supply the supplies, but you could do the manual labor. Your investment then is not financial, but it's your time and energy. Everybody's going to be taking cuts right now, and we all have to be investing. So maybe there's a way that you could work with your landlord to come up with a mutually beneficial agreement. Number three, I think it would be wonderful if none of us had credit card debt and we all had these lovely buffers and buckets of money sitting around us for that rainy day that we all strive to do. But listen, let's be real. Very few of us do that. You are not alone. If you have credit card debt, let's be clear, the debt's not going to go away. The credit card companies will likely not want to decrease your interest. They'll keep it where it is, but they may defer a payment. If you can defer it or extend your due date or decrease the minimum amount that you have to pay, that's going to help leverage up some cash for you. Right now, cash is your secret weapon to riding this out. And the less amount that has to go out or that's being invested in something that's going to give you an edge or an advantage or create a return for you, then we want to sort of slow down that investment. And so, yes, we'd love to be paying off debt, but maybe now we could defer it a little bit to create some wiggle room around you. Contact and negotiate with your other lenders. Every single person, from car loans to personal loans to business loans, ask for the payments to be extended. So decrease the amount you're paying every month, and we're going to increase the length of time that you have that loan. Again, that's a short-term fix. It means you're going to be paying it in longer. People are not going to just turn around and forgive your loan. So we've got to just work with our lenders to find what works for you. Much like with a landlord or a mortgage, it's better if you pay some than none. So let's just talk and have a human conversation here. A mortgage lender, a credit card company, a bank, they're all people. And every single person is in a similar situation. There is higher degrees of empathy. Banks are not just turning around to small businesses and saying, here, take a loan, here, have my money, here, go for. They're not doing that. We have to have something in the game and be able to present our case in a way that's understood and create some credibility for us as a borrower. They are going to look at your credit score. And so let's get your credit score under control before you go asking for money. So let's contact and negotiate with all the lenders. The worst thing you can do right now is to hide. The worst thing you can do is to hide and not make payments. So let's talk and let's come up with arrangements. You can't get water out of a stone. And so if you have no money coming in, you got to be straight up and ask for help. You've got to talk to them. The worst they can say is, no, I'm not going to do anything. You can move on and we'll look for another way around it. You are resourceful, and here's where we're going to need to get creative. But first, there's some more concrete steps that you can take. Number 5, contact and negotiate with the utility companies. Here in Ontario, Toronto Hydro is dropping their rates in light of all the people who are now working from home. I hope more utility companies are going to jump on the bandwagon. It would be nice, but we'll see. Call them, talk to them, come up with a plan so that you are still able to meet your obligations and you're not getting your utilities shut off, but you're also still being able to take care of your financial house. If you have a team, right now is the time to work with each employee and contractor and have a conversation. Some of your contractors and employees are critical to the well being of your business. We've got to fight to keep them as hard as we can. Today, at least in Canada, the government is meeting to figure out wage subsidy. Right now, it's set at 10% per employee. I know that for you, that's probably not enough for you to keep your staff on, but it is a start. And let's just have a little bit of grace here. Our government is making this up as they go. I'm not being sympathetic, I'm not being empathetic, I'm just sharing a fact. They are writing legislation right now as we speak that has been unheard of in this country, that is just never been needed. They're making it up as they go. So the 10% is where it's at today. I suspect we'll see a change, but don't count on it. At least apply for that so that you're in the system and can start getting at least 10% back. Right now, every penny counts, especially within your business. And so if it's 10% or 5%, it may seem like a little thing, but help is on its way. And every little bit is going to add up cumulatively as you figure out your backup plan. So go and seek some assistance. Go and apply when you can for any employee benefits to help you support your people. The less people that the government has on EI or employment insurance or social services down in the US, the better it is for them. And part of our job as small business owners is to right now step in and do our bit to keep the economy going. It's why we need to stay in business as much as we can. It's why we need to be creative and figure out other ways to be reaching our audiences and serve them so that we can continue having money coming into our businesses so we can continue paying our people and so on and so on. And it has a trickle down effect. Number 7, right now is the time for you to reach out to the government for any assistance that's possible. If you can either go on employment insurance if you're making no money, the application line is huge right now. It's going to take some time and it's going to take some patience, and it's on an individual case by case basis. For some of you, it's going to work out really well, and for some of you, it's going to feel like you're getting screwed. Let's just go with it. Let's just know that we will be able to deal with anything that comes our way. Right now is a great time to be going and talking to the BDC, or the Business Development Bank of Canada. And I know in the US that they're unrolling some small business loan programs. Everything's sitting in legislation. Everything is just being written. So be patient. It's coming. The BDC is going to look at your credit rating and look at your revenue and figure out whether you're a good loan or not. I'm not going to choose today's episode to talk about my frustration with the BDC and how banks treat small business owners, but it's sure I'm going to just lay the seed that it is firing me up to get Cummins Capital up and going because it's disgusting. They are not looking at each and every case, and they're giving money to the people who don't need it at unbelievably low interest rates so that they can invest further. We have to fight to be seen here. Talk to somebody. You can go through the online application process, and if your credit rating is really good, I think you should do that. If your credit rating is a little bit iffy, then it's important that you talk to a person because they can tell you how much to apply for, what is possible within your business. And again, it's that human side of borrowing and lending that we're really going to need to dig into right now. So take the time, wait in lines on the phone, make appointments with your representative at your bank. You'll probably have to wait a couple days, but talk to somebody, see what your bank can do for you. Go to institutions where you already have a working relationship, where they know and can trust you and can see all of your payment histories and how you manage debt and what your revenues are like. They can see the sharp drop-offs, and just work with them and see what's possible. Now's the time to do it so that you can get a little bit of a safety net around you. And just because you are granted a loan doesn't mean you need to spend it all at once. See what you can do to slow that trickle of money going out. Again, as a business, you've got to be looking at the money that's going out and saying, which of these investments are going to give me an edge, are going to give me an advantage, are holding me together right now, and also are going to give me a return on the back end. And so, in my coaching programs, we keep talking about that. This coaching program is what's holding these women together. In Power Up, we have a call today at noon, and I've had about 7 or 8 messages of, I can't wait to connect with other people at noon. This is my lifeline. And so we've got to keep making those investments that are there and supporting us. But we can also go through our credit card statements and find all those softwares that we have all the best intentions of using and have never used, and just put them on pause for now. What are the memberships or the subscriptions that you're not really using or aren't relevant? Do you really need new socks every month right now? That's something that can be put on hold. Maybe you do need new socks because it brings you incredible joy every time you open up the package, in which case, keep it going. You have to be auditing and looking at everything. In Power Up next month, we're going to be looking at how to manage our cash flow dollar for dollar, coming in, going out day by day, so that we can keep as many people above the board and above that, the black line, so they're above the black line and staying in the positive as possible. We're all taking revenue hits. Everybody's revenue is going down, but it doesn't mean you have to go and hide. You can take all of this on the chin. You can step in. And then my last 3 points here are all about what you can do in here and in your mind to be able to keep going. So we've got all the power moves of reaching out and just owning what the situation is. No judgment, it just is what it is. The next thing we need to do is breathe and have faith. Just breathe. You are not alone in this. Every single person is going to be feeling the crunch right now. Every single person can react however they react. Here's where I want to talk about faith. If you have a spiritual guide of some kind, now's the time to be honoring them. If you don't, the faith that I'm asking you to have is in you. You can handle anything that comes your way. You are stronger than you know possible. You have more to give than you ever thought you could. Even when you're empty, you can still make that move. I know who you are. I talk to you every day. I talk to you every day through content, through Facebook, through Instagram, through LinkedIn, through my coaching programs and groups and communities. I see you. You can handle this. Have faith that you will survive this. Faith in possibly what's going to keep you going right now. Your resiliency is what's going to keep you going right now. You can handle whatever comes your way. Number 9, this might be needed with a bottle of wine or a friend or a Zoom call with some girls or your husband or your kids. I want you to make a list of 50 ways that you can make money. You can do 5 or 10. You're going to be pushing it to get 15 or 20. But once you get over that 25 ways that you can make money mark, all of a sudden something just opens up and those creative channels start going, and you start realizing that you really are in control here and you really can make some moves. And the money that you want to make is sitting at the end of your fingertips, but it's up to you to go and make those moves to make it happen. You can make money right now. Companies are hiring right now. Time to put our ego to the side and just be open to making money in a different way. If your back's up against the wall, it's time to come out swinging. Go and find opportunities to make money. They are around. They're there. But you have to be open to them and you have to go and find them. And number 10, if you do nothing else, reach out and connect with someone. Don't sit at home and struggle. Don't self-isolate. Well, you have to self-isolate, but don't self-isolate and not virtually connect with people around you. Pick up your phone. Call an old friend. Call a family member. Schedule a Zoom call. I think it's free right now. Set up a Zoom call with your friends. Get your kids together on Zoom. Connect with your husband. Reach out and connect to someone and ask for help. This is the time to put our egos aside. There's no judgment. Asking for help is a sign of strength. That's where your success is going to come from. If you need help, ask. Ask me, ask one of my coaches, ask your communities. We're available by DM, email, tweet, Facebook message, you name it. We're here. Bad signal, send it out. We got you. This is where my coaches and I shine. We have never been busier trying to help people just like you survive this crisis. You are going to survive. You just have to do your part. So let's get your money house in order. Let's protect your cash. Let's ask for help. Make those uncomfortable contacts. And I'll see you tomorrow when I'm talking with Sarah Rosensweet, who's going to help us parenting our children in a peaceful way. There's a lot of family time going on right now. For some of us, it's feeling a little bit claustrophobic, but there are ways that we can be managing this intensity and really embracing this moment. So join me tomorrow, Wednesday at 9:30 a.m., and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.